Junior Pass descent. So bumpy, so steep.
There's like no traction, like no fucking traction.
Well,
it feels like I'm on ice.
I'm just waiting for that moment where you realize I've broken something.
There's honestly a little blood.
This is episode 4 of season 1 of the Impossible Routes. Which is crazy to think that we have done 4 lifelong achievements. Like if you just did one of these in your life, you would feel accomplished. We've done 4 of them in 1 year. And this episode, to be honest, I probably should have bowed out. I am the guy here to depict the average Joe's story of this impossible route. I am so far out of my element. Not only is the course just alone ridiculous, this route, but then the people that I'm with is gonna push me so far beyond what I am capable of.
My name is Ryan Petry. I am a professional mountain biker, and my career is doing long rides because that's just what I love to do. So last year, my IT band flared up really bad. Since then, it was kind of an issue. Every day I would spend 30 minutes to an hour on PT and just foam rolling and everything I possibly could. Because all I want to do is be out in the mountains and be able to do these things that I live for. If I want to keep doing this career and I want to keep being able to do these things that I absolutely live for, I need to get to the bottom of this. So basically all this past winter, it's been rehab. It's been how do I recenter my body? Unfortunately, in that process, I had a bunch of back issues, some SI joint. I've got a couple surgeries, and it really made me hone in on, why do I do this? Why, I have to do so much PT and spending so much money just to be able to ride my bike. But every day I looked in the mountains and I said, this is why I do it. And the motivation was extremely high. All I've wanted to do is do a big ride in the mountains. To take on the impossible route, that was going to be my biggest challenge that I've had in years. And frankly, I was really nervous.
My name is Jeremiah Bishop, 2-time national mountain bike champion, adventure cyclist. And we're here in beautiful Telluride. We just finished up the Telluride Hellride, which by all accounts is probably the most ridiculous route that I've ever taken on in one day.
And that's what I love to do. I love these projects of coming and doing something that I'm not prepared to do, that I haven't put a whole lot of thought into. I'm just gonna jump into something and see what I can do. I like doing that. But at a certain point, you're gonna find your limit. And this one, that found the limit. At a certain point, we kind of go through this switchback and then it opens up to this view that's just this can't be real. If the Matrix exists, this is programmed. That's what I was almost thinking. If I was gonna make something in a video game, this would be it.
Pearce. Ryan Petry. Jeremiah Bishop.
The Telluride Hellride.
So it's 130 and about 22,000 feet of climbing. If you just did the core of the main route.
I think that's doable.
This was kind of like one of those ideas that came together over the course of several years. So last light is 8:21 p.m. First light is at 6 a.m. So if you average 10 miles per hour, yeah, hunky dory, that'll be easy.
So Jeremiah first sent me the route and I looked at some of the passes. I kind of looked at it quickly. I was like, that sounds awesome. Like, I'm in. But then I dissected a little bit more and kind of understood what the goal and the time frame was.
Yeah, like a 10 mile an hour average seems like you're going like 3 up, right? But then down, it's not just like road biking where it's like, oh, let's go 50 miles an hour for the next 20 minutes.
So each climb gets sequentially harder, 14 and a half hours.
I mean, this is the equivalent of like a 250 mile road ride.
Put it this way, Impossible Route Mauna Kea, that was only 17,000 feet of climbing. Mm-hmm. And we were ready to die and get an IV in our arms when we finished. That's gonna be halfway.
Oh, man.
And then it was like, I don't know if these guys really know what these passes are. You don't move quickly out here. And being in Colorado, and I've done a bunch of rides over these passes, I know that there's so much hiking, and I know that it's a totally different mindset, and miles don't come quickly. So I was optimistic and I was excited to get out there, but I couldn't help but just think, we're gonna take this as it comes, because I have a feeling these guys don't know what's ahead of them.
You know, the profile kind of looks like small pass, medium pass, really big pass, really big pass, but you don't have anything to judge it by. But literally, if you put like a category 1 famous Tour de France climb, it would be like the size of the smallest pass we did. I mean, honestly, you just look at them, the steepness, the difficulty, the surface, the altitude, the duration, all these factors combine to make it an impossible route. I mean, really do feel it was worthy of the moniker this time.
Okay, so the main thing that's going on is that we were supposed to ride the Grizzle with the suspension fork. We couldn't get that in time, so we're gonna run mountain bikes, but my personal mountain bike, my forks just blew out. So then we had to ship this bike or come with this bike without forks. And now we're trying to place the forks on here.
And we're leaving in how many hours?
This is the impossible route way, is to just be dangling on the thread of actually starting.
And then somehow pull off a miracle.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get it.
I mean, are you seeing this elevation profile?
Yeah.
And then it shows like the dark red, like that's saying that that's road.
Yeah, it's actually blood that you're riding through.
There's not a lot of
It's not road.
I'm just hoping we didn't forget some important detail.
The main detail is that they're pro mountain bikers, and I'm not. I'm not even a pro anything. It was nice to be able to, just jump right into this thing, and also, not really have time to overthink it.
Last year I did a ride similar to this where I went over a bunch of passes. I was more near Boulder, but like we did 90 miles with like 13,000 feet of climbing. That was the average, and it took us 9 to 10 hours a day.
So the question though, is it possible? I mean, you're the expert for Colorado. You like live up here, ride up here.
I mean, it's essentially double what I was doing on those days. Do I think that I could have done 2 of those in one day?
So we set out a time limit for this. All these other projects we've made harder and harder and harder. And this one, we wanted to make it as hard as we possibly could, like the hardest one-day route ever. And so the one-day thing I was like kind of stoked on because we're not camping in the middle of nowhere, but also, what's the time limit here? Because do we start at 2 in the morning and give ourselves more hours, but then you're not really able to capture any film? Also super dangerous to go down some of these descents in the dark.
Most dangerous trail in Colorado.
Falling off Black Bear Pass. That's Black Bear Pass.
Yeah.
With the Jeep flipped over.
Yeah, that's bad.
Let's not do that.
130 with 22,000 feet of climbing. I say
I'm not like that's still a lot.
we give it a go. I mean, I think
like
that's the core route.
So we landed on We're gonna start at 5, we're gonna roll at 5, and then basically at 8:21 p.m., which is officially dark, see how far you can go. Every one of these I've started knowing I'm gonna finish. Like, it doesn't matter, I'm gonna finish. That's not where my mindset is. It's more just finish as much as I can.
Set an alarm for 8:21 p.m. The Lux and Exceed are the bikes that we chose for this mission. The mountains here, especially above tree line, are exceptionally bony, a lot of loose rocks, really, really steep, high altitude. The combination of difficulty made the mountain bikes the way to go. We've been really underbiked for a lot of these impossible route missions, and I think it was finally time when we picked the right bike for the job. So I was really stoked about how the bikes performed. I just felt like the setup was really ideal for the route.
So I've been riding in the mountains all summer. I spent a lot of time in Crested Butte. So my bike, I was on my Lux, which I think was a really great choice for this. And I just got off racing Leadville. So physically, I was kind of prepared for this. Mentally, the training was there. So I didn't really change anything. Whatever my bike was seemed to be right for being in the mountains. So besides that, keep it simple.
We're gonna ride until 8:21, and whoever has the most elevation wins.
How are you feeling this morning?
Eager to get going, and we drove in late last night, so I don't really know what this place looks like. And so there's like going to be this grand reveal as we're climbing it. I'm excited about that.
How are you feeling this morning? I'm feeling surprisingly awake. I've been looking forward to this one for a while. There's just something magical about like being right here on the edge and kind of looking over and having no idea how it's gonna go. I don't know, I'm like a kid on Christmas.
These are my adventure shoes for hiking, lots. When you put these on, you know you're in for a day.
Again, it's just one day, so I mean, you know how that can be. 4 minutes to start. Let's go. So the first one that we did, Death Valley, I said we're going into the unknown. And that's what all of these are. They're routes that have never been done before, that you've never ridden before. I really like that. I really like that you don't know what's coming up. You don't know what's going to be difficult. You don't know what part of the course is going to be so stupid. And so that's a problem for future me. So it kind of makes me like not so anxious. We're just going into the unknown. We'll figure it out when we get there.
I'm excited. This is what I live for, riding. These high mountain passes is what I think these bikes are meant for. It'll be fun to get up there and see how many of them we can do.
The Telluride Hellride is inspired by my late friend Ben Sontag's love of the high mountains. The route's a combination of some of his favorite high alpine passes in Colorado. 27,000 feet of climbing and 139 miles. It's absolutely insane. Each of these passes gets progressively bigger and more menacing, which doubles down on the effort. The surfaces vary from packed dirt on the forested sections to loose gravel and even bagel-sized stones above tree line. The sort of moving rock seems devoid of anything holding it together, so it makes every foot climbed above tree line feel even harder. Right away, first up are Ophir Pass, followed by Red Mountain Pass. After these 45-minute warm-up climbs, we took on the hour-long Corkscrew Pass and Cinnamon Pass before getting to the real giants. The last 3 passes, these are the stuff of nightmares. Each one of these ascents could be an all-day ride for some people. You're pushing the bike, you're grinding the lowest gear, and sometimes it's better to hop off and push and just save your quads. A little bit less grinding. The last 3 passes, Engineer Pass, Imogene Pass, and Black Bear Pass, all top out at a lung-searing 13,000 feet. Hitting these hardest climbs, exhausted, and at the end, of an all-day ride is part of what makes this route just insane to try to take on in one day. But I guess that's why it's called the Telluride Hellride.